The game begins with a security guard on night shift duty aboard a cruise ship. The boss welcomes him and informs him that he will work 4 consecutive nights. The guard starts his duty by turning on all the cameras on the ship. Following the boss's instructions, he checks the camera recordings on the PC in the security room. Afterward, the guard hears a strange sound and goes to the back of the ship to investigate. There, he finds an injured fish, as if someone had cut and thrown it away. Surprised, he returns to the security room and informs the boss. The boss explains that fishing is illegal in these seas and asks the guard to put the dead fish in the freezer. The guard does so and then checks the footage. He notices blood puddles at the back of the ship and immediately goes to clean them up with a mop, wondering what's going on and whose blood it could be. As it gets late, he returns to the security room and sleeps, knowing he has to work the next day. The following night, the boss praises his work and asks him to check what happened at the back of the ship the previous night. This time, the guard finds a note with strange symbols and icons. He recalls seeing something similar in a book. He tries to decode the note and realizes it's related to an ancient civilization. Just then, the boss reminds him that it's time to work, not study, and sends him to stock some popsicle boxes and update the inventory in the freezer. While in the freezer, the guard encounters an ancient sea monster. The monster warns him that you people have no right to be in these seas and orders them to leave immediately. The guard quickly returns to the security room and informs the boss about the encounter. The boss dismisses his concerns, saying they can't leave the sea or they'll lose money, and threatens to fire him if he doesn't keep working. The guard notices the camera signals weakening, so he goes to the signal room to reset the router before returning to the security room to sleep. On the 3rd night, the boss seems disappointed and tells the guard not to mention stopping the ship again. He encourages him to do a good job that night. The guard checks all the rooms on the cruise and then hears a phone ringing in the security room. As he is about to answer, the monster's voice warns him that the ship will sink tomorrow. The guard begs the monster not to do this, but the monster coldly replies that it's too late and everyone will die. Unable to tell the boss, the guard decides to take matters into his own hands and prepares to face the monster. He gathers materials from the storage room and sets up alarms throughout the ship. After a while, one of the alarms goes off, and when the guard goes to check that, suddenly the ship's power goes out. In the signal room, he finds another dead fish and a message on the wall reading, "Go to the back." When he goes to the back of the ship, he finds more dead fish. The monster appears again and tells him to flee. The guard rushes back to the security room, now worried about what might happen the next night, and eventually falls asleep. On the 4th night, he hears the monster's voice that it's the guard's last day of life. The guard finally calls his boss, but just as he hears a scream, possibly from his boss, the monster warns that the guard's time is also running out. The guard quickly leaves his room and begins setting up the lifeboats. He tries calling for help via radar, but it's not working. The monster's voice echoes again, saying that the guard is about to die. The guard grabs a flare gun, which is functional, and decides to warn the passengers by knocking on their room doors. However, no one responds, and when he breaks into a room, he finds it empty. Suddenly, the monster appears on the TV screen, telling the guard that it has killed everyone and that he is the next one, and after that, it will sink the ship. Instead of running, the guard chooses to fight the monster. He heads to the upper deck, and as the monster approaches, he kills it and saves the crews from sinking.